Hello and welcome to the FA Women's National League show, the weekly show where we look at everything that has happened in the third and fourth tiers of women's football here in England over the past 7 days and look ahead to what we can look forward to in the week to come. My name is Chris Gadsby and usually I'm here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. with the weekly show, but this week it's going out on a Wednesday because I'm on holiday this week and had an interview yesterday and then shot out for the afternoon. So apologies that this week's episode is coming one day late, but we have loads to talk about, including a terrific third round weekend in the FA Cup. We've got the draw to talk about as well, with some mouth-watering ties in there as well. So we'll get straight down to it. Now, usually we start with the Northern Premier Division League results, but both games in that were postponed this weekend because of waterlogged pitches. So we'll start straight with the results in the Southern Premier Division. As you can see as well, a couple of games postponed in this one. So we'll start Keynsham Town 0, Oxford United 3 and MK Dons 0, Crawley Wasps 2. So goals for Oxford United in their 3-0 victory away at Keynsham Town came to Reva Castley, Lauren Haynes and Beth Lumsden. And then for Milton Keynes Dons losing 2-0 away at Crawley Wasps, it was a brace for Aisha Swaby for Crawley. Victories then for Oxford and Crawley. Oxford climb a place into second in the Southern Premier Division. Crawley Wasps also climb one place. They're firmly in mid-table. You'll notice as well that from now on I've put on the promotion and relegation lines in all of the leagues. What's clear there in the Southern Premier Division is quite how much of a gap there is between the bottom four and everybody else. Let's move then into Division 1 North. We'll run through these quite quickly because, as I said, there aren't a huge amount of games to talk about, and I want to talk in detail about the FA Cup. Durham Cestral 1, Stockport County 1, and FC United of Manchester 3, Barnsley 4 in the Division 1 North. So again, not many games played this weekend. Of course, some Division 4 sides were still in the FA Cup, League Cup, play, all the rest of it. So we'll start with Durham Cestral against Stockport County. First half goal for Jordan Atkinson put Durham ahead. But it was a late equaliser for Stockport County. Jess Battle, 88th minute, just a couple of minutes from time, giving a point to Stockport County. And then a terrific game, 7-goal thriller with between FC United of Manchester and Barnsley. Unfortunately, Barnsley, there's no information about their goal scorers. But scorers for FC United of Manchester, Chelsea Flanagan, 26th minute, Ellie Rigby in the 57th, and Ashley Hayes in the 65th minute. Again, what that does for the table, Barnsley lift themselves up a couple of places and out of that bottom three with that victory over FC United of Manchester. A point each for Durham Cestral and Stockport mean they stay where they are. Stockport, though, climb a couple of places, have above Chorley and FC United of Manchester into the top half of the table. Liverpool Feds there at the top still, a good 8 points clear still of the chasing pack. Let's move then into the Division 1 Midlands. Bideford United 1, Burton Albion 3, Doncaster Rovers Bells 2, Solihull Moors 0, and Sporting Cowsall 1, Peterborough United 3. Again, some more games postponed in that one. No information about the goal for Bideford United in their 3-1 loss to Burton Albion. There was a brace for Millie Wakley with two of the Burton Albion goals. That third goal has not been accounted for on the FA Women's National League website. It doesn't tell me if it's a penalty, doesn't tell me if it's an own goal, so it's just a mystery goal. Thank you, FA Women's National League. Doncaster Rovers Bells 2, Solihull Moors 0. Goals for Jessica Price and substitute Neve Doody for Doncaster Rovers Bells. And finally, for results this weekend, Sporting Cowsall 1, Peterborough United 3. Goals in that one, Peterborough United 2-0 up thanks to Keir Perkins 33rd minute and Stacey McConville 49th. Sporting Cowsall got their one and only goal of the game on the hour mark. Laura Smith on the 60th minute. Kia Perkins, 71st minute. Her second of the game, rounding out the victory for Peterborough United. So wins for Britton, Doncaster and Peterborough mean that the league table looks like this. Doncaster Rovers extend their lead at the top of the table to 4 points, but Lincoln City have 3 games in hand on them. Burton Albion, a crucial 3 points for them. They've climbed 3 places now out of that relegation zone on the basis of goals scored at the moment. That's how tight it is in the Division 1 Midlands. You've got 3 teams on 11 points and a -6 goal difference. Peterborough United also climbing significantly with their victory. So a good afternoon for teams towards the bottom, but you can see there just how tight it is. 5 teams separated by just a single point and 3 teams there with exactly the same points and goal difference. Division 1 South East then. Cambridge City 1, Actonians 1, United 7, Stevenage 0, London Seaward 3, Cambridge United 3, and Norwich City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2. We'll start with that Cambridge City Actonian games. Goal for Cambridge City coming to Ellie Cumman, and goal for Actonians to Sharon Odafin. United with a very convincing 7-0 victory over Stevenage, but no information about their scorers yet. London Seaward 3, Cambridge United 3, a really nice back and forth game in that one. Goals for London Seaward, Hayley Barton in the 12th minute, Egil Trezzi in the 2nd minute of added time at the end of the first half, and Abbie Dell in the 75th minute, the goals for London Seaward. Goals for Cambridge United, a brace for Ruth Fox and 1 for Abbie Griffin. Final game then in the Division 1 South East. Norwich City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Queen's Park Rangers scoring early on. Brogan Moore in the 5th minute, backed up by Erin Pope just less than 20 minutes later. 23rd minute, that goal for Erin Pope. Substitute Natasha Snelling, who came on in the 65th minute, getting a goal for Norwich City, but they couldn't get that second one and get anything from the game. So in that table, United then go back to the top on account of their better goal difference over Billericay Town, who of course were in FA Cup action. Actonians, they got their point. They are still in 3rd. Cambridge United 4th, but there is that 4-point gap now between Actonians and Cambridge United. London Seaward, after being pegged back by Cambridge United there, so they both get a point, miss the chance to close the gap on Actonians. Queen's Park Rangers with a good 3 points for them. They're climbing the table and they've still got plenty of games in hand. Norwich City losing this weekend to Queen's Park Rangers, and Stevenage as well. That heavy defeat to United leaves them in the bottom 4. Finally then, for league action, Division 1 South West, Bournemouth 3, Swindon Town 1, Cheltenham Town 6, Poole Town 0, and Maidenhead United 1, Portishead 1. Have a look at that Bournemouth-Swindon game first. Goals for Bournemouth, Katie James in the 8th minute, Lucy Cooper in the 62nd minute, and the 3rd goal is once again just completely unaccounted for. No own goal, no penalty marked on the league website. Megan Attenborough with the only goal of the game for Swindon, 42nd minute in that one. 6-0, a good victory for Cheltenham Town over Poole Town, and they spread the scoring out as well. Lacey J. Liggett, 10th minute, Tamsin Hayward, 26th, Holly Rogers, 28th, Billy Haynes, 63rd, Jade Grove, 87th, and Charlotte Criddle, 90+1. So a good day in front of net for Cheltenham Town. Tighter game between Maidenhead United and Portishead, a 1-1 draw in that one. An own goal conceded in the 1st minute for Portishead, Ruby Lowe there, and then a penalty in the 12th minute for Alana Torrington, also for Portishead. So hectic early start for Portishead in that game, gave a 1-1 draw, and then after the 12th minute it all calmed down, and that was the end of the scoring. Into the table then, following those victories. So Cheltenham Town are now top of the table, having overtaken Bournemouth. Cheltenham Town still top of the table, with Bournemouth winning as well. But they're 2 points clear. Bournemouth, though, have that game in hand. Southampton women are just a game behind. Then there's a 6-point gap back to Exeter City. But as we'll hear later on in the show, when I spoke to Exeter City managers Abbie, Britton and Aaron Wakley, that kind of doesn't really ring true for them because they've only played 6 games. Maidenhead United, then middle of the pack alongside with Portishead. Poole Town at the bottom in the one and only relegation place at the moment. Now, other thing to note in terms of news, you'll notice one team less in the Division 1 South West. Unfortunately, Buckland Athletic have had to pull out of the FA Women's National League for this season. They say they're going to re-enter lower down the pyramid, hopefully next year, but certainly in years to come. So all the games that played against Buckland Athletic have been declared null and void. So, teams have lost 3 points and a bit of goal difference here and there. So the league is now one team less, but it is just one team that's going to go down, which unfortunately at the moment looks like it could well be Poole Town, because they are 5 points adrift of safety. The other thing to note is that now there are only 10 teams in that league. It's an 18-game season. So some teams like Poole Town, like Portishead, Swindon, Larkhall, Southampton Women and Cheltenham there. So the majority of the teams in that league are now halfway through their season or beyond the halfway point in their season. So they need to start getting some results and getting them quickly. That, though, is going to cover everything from the leagues over the past weekend. So now we're going to look at, first of all, one game that happened in the FAWNL League Cup, and then we're going to look at the FA Cup third round, because my, was that a great afternoon of women's football. Okay, and so we'll start with the FA Women's National League Cup. Just the one game to talk about. Up there near the top, Norton Stockton Ancients 2, AFC Fylde 3 after extra time. So that one, quite a close game was following that one on Sunday afternoon. Have a look at it. Fylde haven't yet announced any of their lineup information, but Bianca Owens, with 2 goals 4 minutes apart for Norton Stockton Ancients, got their 2 goals. Sadly, wasn't quite enough. Fylde winning in extra time and going through to the quarter-finals. I'll cover the fixtures in this while I'm here, because this Sunday coming up, Loughborough Lightning against Huddersfield Town in their second round game. All the rest have been played on January the 9th. The draw for the quarterfinals are going to take place once more of the teams have been decided. If you want to see a mock draw, there's one on my YouTube channel. I did a mock quarterfinal draw for the Cup and the Plate, just to show the league that it is possible to film these draws. Right, let's have a look then at the third round results from the Women's FA Cup. As always with the FA Cup, the tier the teams are in down the side. Don't forget that this time around, the FA Women's Championship sides came in to the competition. Chorley 0, Newcastle United 3 in an all fourth tier tie. Durham convincing victories over Leeds United, 6 goals to 0 in that one. Brighouse Town fought gallantly against Sunderland, 1-0 they ended up falling. Liverpool top of the Championship at the moment, beating Burnley by 4 goals to 0. Blackburn Rovers again only narrowly beating Liverpool Feds by a goal to 0. Great effort from Liverpool Feds. Huddersfield Town against Loughborough Lightning. Huddersfield Town winning that one by 3 goals to 1. See, they are playing the reverse fixture, so to speak, in the League Cup this weekend. Lincoln City against Northampton Town, that 4th versus 5th tier game. Northampton Town leading until just a few minutes to the end of that game. Lincoln City then equalising and capitalising in extra time. 4-2, that one finished. Nottingham Forest came from a goal down to beat Stoke City away from home. A Stoke penalty in the first half put them 1-0 up, but Andy Cook's side got the victory in the end. West Bromwich Albion 5, Long Eaton United 1. Stourbridge, the 5th tier side, beaten by Sheffield United Championship side by 3 goals to 0. Very good effort from Stourbridge. Coventry United beating Watford by 4 goals to 0 in the all-championship tie. Bottom 2 in the championship there. Gillingham against Charlton, postponed, waterlogged pitch. Ashford Town in the 5th tier, losing out 6-1 to London City Lionesses. Bristol City 5, Lewis 2. Convincing victory again in that all-championship tie. This is the tie we want to look at though. Bridgewater United 1, Crystal Palace 2. The National League side knocking out the Championship side. Terrific effort from all involved at Bridgewater United. 1-0, and they put themselves in the 4th round, and they get a brilliant 4th round tie as well, which we'll look at later on. Clapton Community's run this year is over. They lost by 5-0 to 3rd tier side Plymouth Argyle. Finally, Chesham United 0, Billericay Town 10. Spoke to Billericay Town manager Scott Chickleday after that. He said it was one of those days where every single shot they took pretty much went in, and they were really, really clinical in front of goals. So congratulations to Billericay Town. Portsmouth against Southampton, the South Coast derby, needed extra time, but Southampton coming out the winners in that one by 2-1. That's being played again in the league tonight. I'll talk about that again later. Southampton women Exeter City also postponed because of the weather. And very finally, AFC Wimbledon 0, Ipswich Town 2. And those are the results from the Cup competitions. Now, this week we've got a guest on the show once again. After their November Manager of the Month awards, I spoke to Exeter City managers Abbie Britton and Aaron Wakley. We spoke about the FA Cup draw, how the team is going, how they long to play a league fixture because they've not played one for over 2 months, how the league can improve, all these sorts of things. But I started, after congratulating them about their awards, spoke about their good run of form.
No, yeah, doing all right, to be fair. Yeah, no, 8 games with 8 wins in a row, I think, actually, rather than 8 games unbeaten. So, yeah, it's good. The momentum's with us at the moment, and, yeah, it's a real good feel factor around the team at the moment. So, yeah, can't really ask for much more. So, fingers crossed, Sunday we can continue that and kick on from there, yeah.
Yeah, 4th in the league at the moment, but that kind of doesn't really give a good representation on the basis of how few league games you've played in comparison to everybody else.
Yeah, and that's something that we were a little bit frustrated if we were going to be anything. We played 8, obviously, but I'm not sure how many of those were in the league. And we had
6.
6 in the league?
No, we played 6 league games.
Oh, sorry, I meant on our run.
Oh, sorry, right, yeah.
I'm not sure how many of those were actually league fixtures as such, which obviously we would trade 8 wins in cup competitions for 8 league wins.
Yes.
It's a 5-horse race, I think, the league, and we're in and amongst it. We want to be in and amongst it, and we'll just see how things go when we do get back to league action next year now.
Yeah, I mean, it must help you as well when you've got players such as Connie Pengelly and Sarah Stacey with 8 goals each in 11 appearances in all competitions so far this year. It must really help to have not necessarily just one person, but a strike pair that really just works so well. Yeah,
absolutely. And they work really well outside of football as well. They've got a really good friendship. And Sarah, being the older, more experienced striker, is definitely teaching Connie a few things. And it just takes that burden off of one of them knowing that they have to score, or us relying on one of them, keeping one of them on the pitch. You know, we've got goals from midfield as well. Our midfield have definitely combined, chipped in with a few as well, which is really pleasing to see. And then as well, the back line don't mind putting their head on a few crosses as well and getting stuck in. So at the moment, goals are coming throughout the team, and which is a pleasant surprise because last year we were struggling in that area. We didn't quite know where we were going to get goals from, but nice to see that we're scoring well.
Yeah, I mean, how are you finding it, like working together? And because it's not often that you have kind of 2 managers, your manager, assistant manager, and whatever, but you've got 2 managers. I mean, who gets the final say if there's a disagreement?
I wouldn't say any of us get the final say. I think we're very good at finding a medium ground. Like, with obviously team selection, me and Abbie both have different opinions, but at the same time we have the overall same opinion when it comes to the team. So it's fairly easy. It's not a case of I get one thing so she gets the other. It's sort of, we both put our points in the hat, and that's where other coaches come in and give us a helping hand as well and say that we think this would be better. And we're both fairly easy to change as well. If we feel like it's the right thing, then it's the right thing, and we'll both take the blame if it goes wrong, and we'll both take a bit of credit if it goes right. So yeah, no, it's nice because I think we're both very different in a sense of how we relay onto the girls. So yeah, I think the balance is there, which is great, and I think that's a massive part of it as well.
Yeah. Sorry, go on, Abbie.
Yeah, we've been good friends outside of being managers for a long time as well, and I think that certainly helped. As Aaron said, we're not afraid to take the fall, both of us, even if one of us made the decision. The team comes first, and our friendship is certainly given us strong foundations to take into management. I
suppose it does help you if one of you has a disagreement with the referee and gets sent to the stands. You've still got the other one there to coach from the sidelines.
Aaron likes to shower the referee, and then I have to get the ticking off, which is not fair.
Part of it, isn't it, I suppose, working together.
Yeah. So how did you both get into this position? And Abbie, I know you had a playing career before this.
Yeah. So I played a lot of football during my time, and then moved down to Exeter and relocated. Unfortunately, whilst playing for Cardiff City, broke my leg in the last game of the season, just as I was starting the community trust. So my sort of transition into management was probably earlier than I'd liked, if I'm looking back and being completely honest, forced in a way, but one that now I look back on was probably the right decision when I did decide to finally call it a day, and got an opportunity with the Girls Development Centre, the community trust run down here, and it's gone from strength to strength. Jamie asked me then to get involved with the women's team with some experience that I had, and I remember my first training session at the time, we turned up and there was only 3 players there. So where we are now after this 5 years or 6 years, it will be the end of this season, is a huge transformation, and one I'm really, really proud to be a part of.
Yeah, I can remember that Cardiff game. It was the last one of mine as well before I left university. It was about 20 minutes on the pitch, and then you're another 40 minutes or so at the side of the pitch. It was long delay to that one.
Fortunately, I remember that one as well for the wrong reasons. But
yes, wrong reasons, of course. Aaron, what about you? Where were you before coming into Exeter?
So I've sort of come up through the City Community Trust. Sort of did the BTEC here, studying futsal, and did like the coaching, and then went to university and did coaching football there as well. And then I've worked at CCT, which is City Community Trust, for near on 10 years now. I've just worked my way up. Started off as a casual coach doing all the after school clubs and things like that, and then started getting involved with the Girls Development Centre like Abbs did. And when me and Abbs become better friends, she got me in on all those things. We then did the college setup together, and then I started. Obviously, when I was at college and uni, I did my level 1 and level 2, and then I wasn't sure what I wanted to do really. And then I made the plunge to go from and do my B license, which is what I've got now. And then Abbie asked me to get involved when Clive was manager about 3 years ago now, and that was it really. But I do all like the college setup, so I see some of the girls sort of 6 times a week, which is interesting at times.
Mm. Do you find that it helps you, Abbie, having been a player in the same National League system, to then be able to go in forward and be a manager?
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly gives me something to relate back to the girls with. I know the pressures that they're under, how hard it is to train, to play, to work, to have a life and social life alongside things. I appreciate the travel that they have to do and the levels of commitment that it takes to be a National League player. So on that part, I can certainly empathise with them. I've had the experience. I played at some of the highest levels, played against some of the best teams around, and I think that gives me a slight advantage when it comes to talking to these girls on a one-to-one level and as a team level, trying to put across how I know how they're feeling, and I know how to approach some things and aspects of the game, which is all that you can do is as a manager, is give them as best experience and guidance as you can. But it's fantastic to see the game growing as it is now. Certainly a lot further along the line than when I was playing just a mere few years ago. So long may that continue as well.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Really, is see, you've been around the game a long time, both of you. How have you found the women's game progressing over the last kind of 5-10 years or so?
Well, certainly from my side, like I said, from playing in it and being almost probably a couple of years too soon to see what the real growth and everything is now. I'm in sort of in awe of the girls, what they get now, and the pitches that they can play on, and the opportunities that they have, whether or not that's the kit, whether or not that's playing on a lovely surface, whether or not that's coach travel or overnight stay. All these things weren't available when I was playing, and like I said, that was only a couple of years ago. So it's great to see the game growing. It's great to have fans, and at games, we recently had a game here where we had over 1,300 fans, and that there in itself, I don't think the fans realise, or media or anybody realises how much that really means to the players themselves. It's a great advert for football, yes, but the impact on women's game and the women involved in the game itself, those 22 players, Plymouth as well, would have been huge for them. Obviously, Aaron's new to it, but I think he's seen a change in, just like he said, when I got him involved with the college and the Girls Development Centre, and I had these visions. For him now to have seen those actually happening, I'm sure he'll tell you himself, it's only one way it's going.
Yeah, like I said, it's changed so much even in the short space of time that I've done it, and it's nice to see. And like Ab said, you can't reiterate much how much it means to the girls when you see girls. Like when I did it, you come here on a match day on a Saturday to watch the men, you see shirts with the girls' names on the back of their shirts. So and that means so much to those girls. People don't realise, and we see it day in day out. We see the group chat when someone sees someone's shirt on Twitter, and it gets shut in the group chat, and they're all buzzing off it. So yeah, it's massive, and I think the game here at SJP has only helped that. And you don't realise how many people actually were interested in the women's game in itself. I think that game that day was not only big for us; it was big for football in the Southwest as it was, because I feel like the social media coverage since then has been massive, and yeah, it's only going from strength to strength. So yeah,
I know what you mean. When we had 4,500 for the East Midlands derby, it really put it on the map for that weekend. Let's just look forward a bit. Then you've got kind of the second attempt at the third round FA Cup game coming up this weekend. You now know who your opponents would be in the fourth round as well. So you must be really looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, I think it puts that. I think watching the draw last night or hearing the draw last night on the radio, you think it could go one or two ways. Now the girls know who they could potentially play, and it could have been a massive team. And I think West Brom are still league above. So I think for us in Southampton to have that opportunity, I think it just puts even more on the line on Sunday. And yeah, I think it was a tough game as it was, and it's even tougher now because you know what's on the line.
Yeah.
But the girls have good enough to do it, and I'm sure Aaron at Southampton's thinking exactly the same. So it just makes for a very interesting encounter in Southampton on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you're two quite evenly matched sides, very close in the league as well. So it should be a terrific game. I was wondering what you were thinking. We've had the draw for the fourth round yesterday as we're recording this. That's the first time in round 4 we've actually had a draw. And it seems that now the WSL teams are in, the kind of social media about the Women's FA Cup has stepped up. Kind of maybe a two-part question, A, with the FA Cup, but B, the league in general. And you've said how much it's come further forward, but what more can be done, and how can we keep moving the league forward?
Like you said, the first time it's been done on the radio was, and then seeing your team, I don't know if you noticed, but it was on Sky Sports News at the bottom, the teams going across the live draw. There's nothing stopping that can't be replicated like the men's team do, a live draw, BBC One, BBC Two, Sky Sports News, having their own dedicated Sky channel. I mean, Sky are doing wonders for the women's game now, don't get me wrong, with the coverage that they're showing there, and so are the BBC, but there's nothing to say that there couldn't have been a 10-minute slot for a live Women's FA Cup draw at a Women's FA Cup team, or Chelsea are current holders at their training complex. That for me would be the next step. I heard, obviously, Claire Rafferty was talking a lot about the growth of the women's game last night and how it can be driven forward. And she's right, the more commercially, the more eyes that you can get onto the game, the better the growth would be. But that's with everything. I don't like comparisons with men's football. I think it's a completely different sport in itself. It shouldn't be compared. It is what it is. And I think it needs to be sold as that, women's football, rather than trying to tag it alongside men's football, which is hard, but we seem to be able to do it when it comes to other sports. So I think it needs to just fall in line with that, really.
Yeah, Aaron? I think you might have stolen everything you was going to say, Abbie.
No, sorry, I've gone there. No, I can't help that, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'll answer the next one if you want to answer the next one.
I mean, how are you finding the disruption then to kind of winter? And you also had the game last week called off. Pretty much everything got wiped off a few weeks ago with the storm. You've mentioned, of course, because all the cups take priority, how long ago it was that you had. I mean, your last league game was the 3rd of October. You're talking 2 months ago, you last had a league game.
Yeah, Portishead away. It's probably the best we've played all season. It's should really remember that one. Yeah, I think like I said I wasn't surprised. Absolutely, we're never surprised. The girls are never surprised when a game gets called off in the winter months. It's always expected. But to be fair, sometimes you think to yourself, I feel like more so now than ever, they're trying to get games on as best they can. Like we played London and Seawood last week. Week before last, and that could have easily been called off. Looking at the pitch, but it wasn't terrible. But the referee could have looked at that in a different light and thought, yeah, no, don't fancy that today. So yeah, I think they are trying their best, and most clubs do have a backup 3G. I guess when we just get that torrential rain for a couple of days, it sometimes just puts us out, which is understandable. But yeah, I think me and Abs are certainly looking forward to a league game this weekend, Swindon. But obviously that's now been canned because of the FA Cup game. But we'll have to wait now until the 9th of January. We've got Bournemouth, I think, at home, which is also.
So. Couldn't get harder first game back into the league. I don't think.
Yeah, Bournemouth at home. You do have 3 home games in a row start of the new year. So, well, as it stands at the moment, anyway. So look at the league table then. Just finally finishing up. You're 9 points off the top of the table, but you've got 3 games in hand. So you must be hoping that you can close the gap on that, get that top spot, and aim for tier 3.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
Go on, you go.
Yeah, well, with the away performances at Southampton and Bournemouth, getting a point there, when you look back on reflection now, they are huge points. You're just hoping that you can now capitalise on that and make them 3 points at home. And as you said, you've got 3 games starting the new year. If we can get maximum points there, it does put us in a really strong position. But make no bones about it, this is one of the hardest leagues around, and I stand by that. The teams down here at the moment are really competitive. A few seasons ago, it would be 1 or 2 teams running away with the leagues. But now it's a 5-horse race, like I said. And if you can get points off of each other, then that's massive. So we are under no illusions that it will be difficult. It will be very difficult. But we hope that we've prepared properly and we are where we need to be physically and tactically to be in and amongst it come the end of the season.
Yeah. What the question was now.
It's like what you're hoping to, you're aiming for that top spot, of course, and your aspirations for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think that whole picture changes with the whole. Obviously, we played Buckland, didn't we? And we won that, and that got taken away. And obviously, goal difference got taken away, game got taken away, win got taken away. So it then puts us down in that other position. So I think, when you look, we've only played 6 league games. I think if we can get 9 points out of that first 3 games, and like Ab said, we'll put ourselves in a massive position to then kick on forward. And then obviously we'll have the plate drawing around then. And if we're successful this weekend, we'll have the FA Cup game in there as well. So there's so much to play for, and I think it's only going to go from strength to strength. And if we can put another run together like we've run at the moment, then why not? We just need to aim for the top, and hopefully we'll come into the season, we'll be up there in and around it.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, I was looking at the FA Cup yesterday, and because of the games in hand and you perhaps being slightly out of position, technically because you're 4th in Tier 4, you're the lowest ranked side left in the competition. So you've got that to really go with being the underdog, so to speak.
There's no pressure, is there? There's no pressure on us at all. I mean, absolutely zero pressure going into any of the games. So we'll take the lowest ranked team. And if us and Southampton would have drew a Chelsea, imagining them coming down to one of us and the lowest ranked teams against the win.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks both for your time this afternoon. Best of luck at the weekend, and hopefully we'll see you in the round 4.
Thank you
Very much.
Chris.
Cheers, mate. See you
guys.
later.
Cheers. Huge thank you to Abbie and Aaron for taking the time out to speak to me for this week's show. So now let's look at the fixtures coming up this weekend. We've already touched on one, the Loughborough and Huddersfield Cup game. So let's have a look at the league fixtures. Again, it's a bit of a reduced programme because of everything getting pushed back. So County Cup and League Cups take preference over the league. But in the north, Hull City against Sheffield, Middlesbrough take on Derby County, and Nottingham Forest against Burnley. So we look at those. Hull City against Sheffield, crucial game at the bottom there, 3rd versus 11th. Middlesbrough as well in 10th against top of the table Derby County. Forest against Burnley, that's 5th versus 6th. This is essentially Forest's game in hand over Derby, Fylde and Huddersfield. So they'll be desperately looking for the 3 points. Into the Southern Premier Division, one game tonight at Fratton Park as well. Portsmouth against Southampton. Portsmouth will be hoping to get revenge on Southampton after that FA Cup defeat. Southampton now in 3rd, having played 2 less games than Ipswich and Oxford. Chichester and Chelsea against Bridgewater United. That's 11th versus 4th. Chichester and Chelsea desperately need points to try and catch Cardiff City. These are back at the weekend, by the way. MK Dons against Plymouth Argyle. That's 13th versus 12th, so somebody will pick up points at least in that one. Oxford United, Ipswich Town. That's the top 2 coming up against each other. Ipswich Town could put the league almost out of sight even at this early stage, you feel, with a victory. They're already 8 points clear of Oxford. If they manage to get that to 11 points, then that could be an insurmountable target. Portsmouth against London Bees, that's 7th versus 8th. And then Southampton against Cardiff City. Southampton playing their second game of the week. Cardiff City in 10th, safe at the moment, 8 points above the relegation zone. Division 1 Midlands, just 2 fixtures to discuss. Long Eaton United against Lincoln City, that's 4th versus 2nd. And Peterborough United against Wem Town is 8th versus 10th. 2 sides there that are on 11 points and with a -6 goal difference. Again, something's got to give there. Lincoln City desperately wanting to make good use of their games in hand and go back to the top of the Division 1 Midlands table. Long Eaton United, though, could catch them and overtake them with a victory. Into the Division 1 North, Alnwick Town against Chorley, Liverpool Feds against Barnsley, and Newcastle United take on Stockport County. Alnwick Town, bottom of the table at the moment, face Chorley, who are 6th. Liverpool Feds, top by a convincing margin, face Barnsley, who are only out of the relegation zone on goal difference. And Newcastle United against Stockport County, that's 2nd versus 5th. So could be a close one there. Division 1 South East, 4 games to talk about. Actonians against Billericay Town. Enfield Town take on AFC Wimbledon. Kent Football United against Cambridge City. And Queen's Park Rangers against #United. So the top 2 both in action. Billericay Town in 2nd against Actonians in 3rd. And away from home for Billericay Town. So potentially tough fixture for them. Enfield Town against AFC Wimbledon, 9th versus 6th. Kent Football United, bottom of the table, still without a win this year. Cambridge City in 8th, hoping to put some distance between themselves and the drop zone. And Queen's Park Rangers against #United, that's 7th, hosting the league leaders at the moment. Division 1 South West then, just 2 games to talk about. Bournemouth against Portishead and Chesham United against Cheltenham Town. Bournemouth in 2nd, have a game in hand over Cheltenham at the moment, but of course Cheltenham are playing. But Bournemouth could go top if Cheltenham drop points. They are in 2nd at the moment, 2 points off the top of the table. Portishead are in 7th, and Chesham United are in 6th as they host Cheltenham Town, currently top of the table. Those are the league fixtures coming up this weekend. So we'll just round off this week's episode then by looking at the draw for the 4th round of the Women's FA Cup. It's not taking place until the end of January, but as it was made yesterday, eventually on TalkSport 2, we were told it was going to be from 7 o'clock, and it turned out to be about 10 to 8. So we'll have a look at the draw then for the fourth round cup. Again, this is where the Super League sides come in, and the tiers for these teams are down the side. So Southampton against Bristol City, Newcastle United against Ipswich Town. That's an all National League tie. So we're guaranteed at least two, it will turn out at the end, National League teams in the fifth round at least. Plymouth Argyle against Gillingham or Charlton. Of course, Gillingham could win that game. Then we get another all National League tie. Liverpool against Lincoln City. Brighton Hove Albion against Reading in an all Super League tie. Nottingham Forest off the third tier host Manchester City. Mouth-watering tie there. I'm very much looking forward to that one. Aston Villa against Chelsea. Another all Super League tie. Billericay Town take on Coventry United. Durham against Blackburn Rovers, all Championship tie. West Bromwich Albion against Southampton Women or Exeter. Again, Southampton Women or Exeter both in the fourth tier, so that's another fixture where we're definitely going to have National League side in the fifth round. It's worth noting that that one and the Gillingham Charlton game are being played this weekend as well in the FA Cup. Sheffield United against West Ham United, Championship against Super League. Another Super League Championship tie, Birmingham City Sunderland. Bridgewater United, after knocking out Crystal Palace, get to host Manchester United of the Super League. Terrific for Bridgewater United. Huddersfield Town also hosting Everton of the Super League. All Super League tie, Tottenham Hotspur against Leicester City. And finally, Arsenal against London City Lionesses. Super League side against Championship side. So, brilliant draw from the National League point of view for several reasons. One, we're guaranteed at least two National League sides in the fifth round. As I said, I will continue to cover the FA Cup as long as there is a National League side in it. And also, as Craig from Talking Women's Soccer spoke to me the other day, apart from Lincoln, the National League sides have got home ties predominantly against Championship or Super League sides. So that should hopefully, big gate receipt, particularly for teams like Bridgewater United and Nottingham Forest who are hosting Man City, hopefully get a big gate in and really help those clubs out. So that should be great. And of course, it was great to finally have a draw live, albeit just audio, for this. It's a shame that it's taken till the fourth round for them to do it, but I think my feelings on that have been made very clear over the past few weeks, and I have shown that even a low-tech solution can easily be filmed. And my argument would be that I would do that from the first round, or even the fourth qualifying round when the National League sides come in, when the league sides come in, when they do it for the men's game. Draw is televised when league sides come in. So for us, that would be from the fourth tier down, and that would be from the fourth qualifying round. If you're only going to start doing live draws from here, you may as well just call this the first round and have the third round, what we call the third round, being like the sick qualifying round. If it's only... And you notice on social media as well that the interest has ramped up, and the amount of things on social media have ramped up since the Super League sides come in. And that's... If you're only going to start doing that from the fourth round, you may as well call it the first round. But anyway... that's my kind of mini rant over about the FA Cup. That'll do it for this week's episode of the FA Women's National League show. Next week we'll be back to Tuesdays. Next week will be the last one of 2021 because this weekend, the 19th, is the last weekend of fixtures this year. So next week's show is going to be a shorter one where I look back at what happened this weekend, and we'll look back at the first half of the season. But then the week after that, which would be the 28th, there's no fixtures to look forward to and no fixtures to look back on. So we'll take a week's break, allow everyone to enjoy their Christmas, and then be back on January the 4th. January the 4th, to look ahead to those games on the 9th. So a big thank you again to Abbie and to Aaron for taking the time out to talk to me on this week's show. As always, if you want to get involved, you can leave a comment down below or get in touch with me on Twitter at Chris_Gadsby. As I say every week, keep yourselves safe, but keep supporting your local women's football team. We've got some terrific fixtures on the way over the next month or so. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for the FA Women's National League show. Goodbye.